rocpodcasts.com.
We are a little late.
Prepared?
Prepared. No permitas, Kate and Ganyan.
It's a goddamn joke. It's quid pro quo de facto. This democracy's a hoax. Stacey says, man, it's time to act. Keep your wallet where your heart is. We can take the power back. So go get a bowl, a spoon, and some cereal, and sit your ass down. It's time for AirWreckRadio.
It is the 26th day of May in the year 2014.
The Memorial of Days.
The Memorial of Days.
Remember, folks, never forget.
I am Cory.
And I don't remember.
And this is episode 55?
Or so.
Of AirWreckRadio.
Look at that. We started so poetically.
It's so much, it's back to be, it's fun to be back
This
in
is
the
the way
driver's
we
seat.
should do this. This is how we should make this show from now on. It's much better when you introduce the show.
I feel much more comfortable back in the chair.
I'm
You know what
already.
saying?
This is going to be a better show than last week's show.
So, like usual, we have all sorts of fun things planned for you. Some deep news, some personal opinions, and most importantly, discussing dumbass radio hosts who get themselves fired.
Wow, you want to jump right into that?
I do, unless you have something else.
Fine with me. So, folks, if you didn't hear, my least favorite radio personalities of all times, probably.
All time.
That's probably a little more than what I mean, but
I like Limbaugh more.
two of Rochester's most listened to hate-mongers have recently lost their positions as radio hate-mongers.
As radio public airwave mongers of hate. Bastions of evil.
I don't know about bastions. That's a little rough. But I like them. That's a nice... I like that. But I think it's a little strong. Maybe
Just
harbingers of dissent.
Harbingers of petty gossip.
Kimberly and Beck.
Shitty radio. Kimberly and Beck in the morning.
They are out of here.
See ya.
So, in case you didn't hear, they said some hateful things. And they said some things that were fun. I mean, like, I get what they were saying, but seriously, they kind of crossed the line. And, in case you didn't know what line it is, I found the audio.
All right, and then we'll get into, how I feel about this.
Yeah, do you want to hear the audio first or talk about it?
The city of Rochester, you should be feeling good about
I'm
this.
irritated
using
already.
your tax dollars to extend transition-related health care coverage to its employees who are transgender and gender non-conforming. What the hell does that mean?
All right.
That
like
means
you're not
if you
a
want to
woman
change,
or a man?
if you're a man and you want to change into being a woman, or if you're a woman and want, some appendage added.
I'm sorry. It said current employees, right? Or spouses of employees.
Yeah, current employees of the city of Rochester would be eligible for health care that covers transgender-related operations or hormones or medications or things like that.
I wanted to make sure I was clear before I have any opinions on anything.
They can probably do that for you in the city of Rochester.
Mayor
It's going to be
Lovely
covered
Warren.
by the health insurance.
Mayor Lovely Warren made that announcement. It's been approved by the city's Labor Management Healthcare Committee. The new coverage if you are a City of Rochester employee, will pay for services related to your gender reassignment surgery.
What? Stop. I would like to point out that they are covering what is at least news, even though I want to bust them for going local news. At least it's a news story.
I don't want to bust them for going local news at all. I mean, I think this is a great... I think right up until a certain point, I'm with them about this. Here's the thing. Mayor Lovely Warren, I don't feel like you have the power to just decide that you're going to expand the city's health care. I feel like we should have a vote on this sort of thing, where you would ask your constituents, who I'm not one of, so, I mean, honestly, it's none of my business. But I used to be a member of the city of Rochester, and I used to vote, and I would be pissed off that I didn't get an opportunity to say yes or no on this. Now, I probably myself would have said yes, but I can see why people would say no, and I think they should have a right to say no. Kimberly and Beck, however...
Yeah, okay, let's address it before we get to the Kimberly and Beck. Let's address that, at least. I think you
Sure,
did. I'm
okay.
going to throw a stab at it. I think that I would have to see the details of the plan, because if it were like... If we're talking the actual gender reassignment surgery, I might have a little bit of a problem with that. But if you were talking about the therapy that goes along with having those kinds of emotions, and even during the changing process, you need to, helping hand, post stuff, I would be okay with. So I would really have to see the details of how much of it we're covering.
What do you see as being the difference, I'm curious to know, between the actual surgery and the post stuff or pre-stuff?
Because I believe that it is... I don't want to use the word mental condition because it makes them sound like they're sick, and they're not sick. I believe that it's just...
Well, some of them might say...
There's no fault of their own that they feel or want to act on these kind of impulses. It's not a fault of their own. So medical coverage to help them in either way, whether to go for it or against it or whatever, I think is due. I think is just. But I think that gender reassignment itself, the actual surgery, is cosmetic surgery, and I don't know that I'm okay with insurance covering cosmetic surgeries of any kind.
To get to, you said, they're not sick. And I think that's a programming thing right there. It's so wrong to think that there's something wrong with somebody who's gay, and we therefore think there's something wrong with somebody who's transgender.
Well, maybe it is programming, but I honestly don't think
I know, but the thing of being transgender is there is something wrong with you. You got born in the wrong body. To some people. Perhaps to themselves. Now, I know that when I have the flu, my body don't feel like my own, and I will take medicine to deal with that. Now, if I had a case of the cock that ain't mine, I think I would want to have insurance that would cover the medicine to fix that.
Like I said, I would be. My line would just be on the actual cosmetic end of the surgery. The medical help, the therapeutic help, I think I would be okay with. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's a perfectly viable opinion. My opinion differs slightly, but whatever. What do you think Kimberly and Beck talked about? Do you think they talked about that?
Let's find out.
So the dude can look like a lady, and the city...
Dude look like a lady.
Oh, they're going to do that. Don't worry.
Your tax dollars at work. Woo!
Does that mean then they'll also, if women want to have a boob job, they'll pay for the boob
boob
job?
job?
I think that's only right.
A bub job?
A boob
The
job?
services that will be paid for under the new coverage: gender reassignment surgery, psychological counseling, because you're probably a nut job to begin with.
So it will pay for the surgery
right.
and the
Hormone
Yep, she said
therapy,
you're a nut job.
Cosmetic and reconstructive surgery. So let me get this straight. A lot of women who have breast cancer sometimes have to fight with the freaking insurance company to get their breasts redone, right?
Right.
Because whether or not they're lopsided, because you just have the
Quickly, do two wrongs make a right?
No,
So she makes a valid
several
point.
lefts do.
She makes a valid point. Several left boobs. Boob job. She makes
There's a tie back here somewhere.
That's a valid point about a completely unrelated situation. If you, as a woman, have breast cancer and lose one of your breasts, or both of them, getting a breast surgery afterwards, sure, your health insurance should cover that.
We might have you might have just punched a hole in my cosmetic argument on insurance.
Why the fuck not?
I think you just punched a hole in my argument on the cosmetic surgery.
What are the insurance companies going to go broke? I don't believe that for a
Over a
second.
pair of titties? It's like 20
Yeah.
grand for titties.
So I'm saying. Kimberly makes a good point about a problem that faces cancer victims, as though it has anything to do. Like, this is two separate issues.
Right thought, wrong time.
You can feel, it's like how people that are pro-life are generally pro-death penalty, too. You can feel two ways about the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay.
I'm going to isolate the thing where you said Kimberly was right.
Oh.
That's our new button.
Too bad I'm going to have all the audio. You ain't isolating shit. This is the show that never posts. Let's hear what else they have to say. You have a responsibility.
Cancer removed, or maybe you have to have, complete removal. Sometimes those insurance companies want to be a pain in the backside.
Will the
But if
city
you're a
then
guy-
cover that cost? Will the city cover that cost?
I don't know. That's not. She didn't make any mention of that. I mean, I think some insurance companies do. Some you have to fight with for reconstruction.
She's just making shit up
surgery if
here,
you
by
have,
the way, too.
Cancer.
But if you're a guy,
I
and
think.
you want to have,
This is all
change
just
your sex.
story
If you want a
time.
vajay,
yeah.
I mean, you
And
two
if you-
are already halfway there.
And if you
have
want
a
a
mangina.
Or if you're a woman and you want a penis, kind of like Kimberly.
Is this
Whoa,
is
whoa,
morning
whoa,
radio?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
This is morning radio. My kid's in the back seat right now, and he's got to listen to these two fucking hate mongers, and apparently they have a third one too. Go on about vajayjays and manginas.
Not going to take the same stance.
I am.
I
agree with me.
I just wanted to stop with the to point out that before or right after we insulted the transsexuals, transgender,
Yeah,
we totally just insulted, it sexually harassed everybody in the room I work with.
yes, yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just have, the balls in my mind. I don't have to have the real ones.
The city will pay for it.
Yeah.
Yuck, yuck,
Boop.
yuck. Come on. We can get a little further than that.
No, I'm starting to get a little annoyed here.
It goes on for 12 minutes.
Oh, I got how much longer?
They get a caller, Corey.
Oh, the callers will bring it around. Callers are great. They always seem to be right on track, and they really bring things around.
This one was pissed. She was a pissed off ladyboy.
We have 10 minutes to go.
Whatever.
The benefits go into effect January 1st. So if you're planning on becoming a woman, guys, in the very near future.
Well, hang on till January 1st.
Right.
Don't start the transformation quite yet.
Where the city of Rochester will then add transgender.
How mad is that guy that got it on December 27th?
Oh, at this point, nobody's scheduling for them. Nobody's scheduling for them.
Health care benefits for their employees and their family members who are enrolled in the city's enhanced medical plan.
If you could have the city
Heard
pick up the
everything.
tab on something
I've
that you
heard
changed
everything.
physically about you, what would it be?
Well, there'd be nothing. I'm perfect. Kimberly pretty much is too.
Hair plugs for him. Hair plugs for the hairless cat.
No,
Hair plugs for the hairless
Health insurance
cat.
could cover hair
There's not a
plugs. Why
chance
not?
in hell
Okay,
that I want
whoa.
hair plugs. Those things are hideous. I would think the first move for you is maybe do something about those bunions.
I don't have bunions.
It's summertime.
What are
the
we
bunions are gonna
listening
make an
to?
appearance.
What everybody else is listening to.
I don't have bunions.
Well, was until very recently.
There's nothing wrong with that. Own the bunions. Just like I own the hairless cat.
Okay, a
Own the
bunion
bunions.
joke.
Here's the
Move
thing.
on.
Yeah, don't we have
If you
people to
are a
hate?
guy and you want to be a woman, or if you're a woman.
Oh,
and
here
you
we
wanna
go.
Oh,
be
she
a
took
guy,
control of the
Back to
show.
the
She
hate.
got.
that should
Yeah,
come out of
okay.
your own freaking pocket.
She
city
puts the hole
resident
in
and
control.
Rochester worker.
She also puts the
That
cunt
should
in
be-
As a
cunt hole.
taxpaying citizen for the city of Rochester, don't feel that you should have to pay for that.
She also
I have a
puts the
tendency to agree
fired
with you on
in
this
your
one,
fire.
Kimberly.
Lord, it
I
just
saw
makes
that.
me crazy. Why can't people just be... Now, someone is saying there's a high school in the area that has a transgender... Is this a text we're getting?
Right about now is when they should have said,
They're saying,
wait,
the
if we
fourth
keep going,
man,
we're going to
you're
get
the fourth
fired.
man. Checking in at 5.
Yeah, right about now.
They didn't do that.
There is a girls' softball team in the area with a boy that plays on the girls' varsity softball team.
That he's a transgendered boy
Well,
playing on the
but-
girls' varsity
but he-
softball team?
But he hits like a guy.
I'm sorry. He should not be...
What I just did was what their dump guy should have done.
Yeah. You know, but here's
Everybody's
the thing.
got a dump guy. There's a guy. They all have dump buttons, and their producer's sitting there with a dump button, listening for dumb shit to come out of people's mouths.
Yeah, but they hadn't yet gotten to really saying anything they shouldn't have said. Because here's the thing. You're
I
entitled
feel
to
it
the
coming.
opinion. Oh, feel it coming. You're entitled to have whatever opinion you want to have. And as a radio guy, you're entitled to say it as long as you don't think it's going to cost you your job. And really, there's nothing wrong with what Beck's saying, that they hit like a guy. Sure, they do. They have a guy skeleton, sort of. But it's not like every transgender guy to girl is fucking Hercules that wants to be Princess May. That's
yeah, very rarely is that going
It's-
to happen. You're probably going to find they're very feminine.
I've generally found that the people that I knew to be transgender were generally very effeminate, but not all of them.
We're at the end of this. I'm going to get to my opinion on whether they should or shouldn't have been fired for this.
Yeah,
And I'll
absolutely.
give it to you why. But until then, I'm going to point out how much I hate
There's the Kimberly and Beck show.
this fucking show.
Yeah, me too.
To play on the girls' varsity softball team.
He shouldn't be. He should play on the baseball team.
Well, you know
Why?
they're not going to have him play on the baseball team,
Why not?
because he'd get
He's a guy-
never-ending crap.
He's a guy.
Well, I know, but
If he's a guy, he should play on the baseball team. He shouldn't play on the girls' softball team.
Without
Why aren't
a
high
doubt.
school teams just
So
co-sexual?
according to the text from the fourth man,
If a girl wants to play
that's you, the
football,
listener,
let her play football.
52545.
It always works down, but it
There's
never
an
works
area
out.
high school that has a transsexual boy playing on the girls' varsity softball team. It's
Hey,
not right.
Kimberly and Beck, I'm a skinny girl trapped in a fat girl's body. Will the city pay for liposuction?
Lipol
That's a
suction?
good question.
Well, they pay, no, they won't pay for
Maybe you have
lipol suction.
psychological issues because you have jiggling fat on your butt.
Oh, man.
Are they going to pay for? Honestly,
No.
right?
I'm a broke guy. I mean, I'm a rich guy.
This
stuck in
is
a
funny.
broke guy's body. You think they'll just give me a lump sum of cash?
You know they should.
They should. I mean, I feel rich. Why shouldn't I be able to be rich?
So true, Chris.
This is
Yeah,
an idiotic
there's really
point,
two
but it's
issues
funny.
here, Kimberly. First of all, you got a guy playing
I
girls
want to
softball.
deliver a bomb
Which
to
is
the
wrong.
studio.
Right.
I don't care
Even
who
though
it
he
is.
thinks
He
and
doesn't
feels
mean
like
that,
a girl,
folks.
he still has guy strength, right?
Right. And I know this goes on in a number
What
of
is
sports
guy
that the school
strength
does not
exactly?
offer, like boys volleyball. There are boys who play on the girls volleyball team.
You just sounded like a feminist.
Well, but what is it? Come on.
I'm going to say on a regular basis that a male of any species is usually larger and stronger.
Yeah, but I bet I know. We're not talking about the generalities. We're talking about very specific kind of people. I bet I know a girl that could out arm wrestle you.
I do know a girl who could out arm wrestle me. It'd be a fight, but she probably would.
So shouldn't she be able to compete on the men's arm wrestling team if she wanted?
There were girls on my wrestling team
See?
because it works down. Like the girls can always play. The girls can play on the boys' team if they qualify to play. If they're good enough to play.
Wait, is that because you were a transgender girl?
Yes, that is because I am in fact a transgender girl and I am now a man. So I made the transition.
Good for you.
Yay!
That must have been quite the ceremony.
It was involved a lot of whacking off. I have no idea.
Man,
But,
we
going the
think
other way-
Kimberly and Beck suck.
Going the other way never works. The boys to the girls team never works because you always cry physical advantage.
No, that's why you just put them together and say that's how it works. That's how it is. In real life, you're going to have to work with both sexes. It's just how it is. Get over it.
I don't know. You might not have a terrible idea.
I never have a terrible idea. I have some wrong ideas and I have some bad ideas, but never a terrible one.
Well,
Kimberly and
this one
Beck say
this certainly one is not terrible.
Team. But clearly in this situation, the school district does have baseball for boys. But does that mean this kid mentally thinks he's a woman or trying to become a woman, so he's going to play girls softball?
Now, someone's trying to guess. I will tell you, it is not a city school.
No.
It is not a city school that has an alleged transgender kid on the girls' varsity softball team. It shouldn't be allowed. And tax dollars and medical insurance should not pay for that. That if you want
no.
that and that's going on in your head,
That's fine.
that should be out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
That's why insurance companies are so screwed up. They'll pay for that, but they don't want to pay for, certain new therapies of cancer treatment. So it just blows my mind.
Well, yeah, it's a slippery slope. And I would say, you know what? Then if some woman can say, go to a doctor and it be proven that, hey, she's got mental issues because her rack's not big enough, then you know what? She deserves a boob job, right, Kimberly? Or she deserves liposuction.
Right, if you can prove that you're a nut. Yeah. I guess.
What if we just sucked the fat out of the fat one and gave it to the titless one to put it in her titties?
Why not?
That's a great question at 52545.
I bet that's a reasonable.
Oh, is that a side point?
Oh, here's their caller.
Works for the city and wants to be a transgender.
Caller, you're on the air. Well, thank you for calling Kimberly and back.
That's it.
Hi, you're on the radio with us, Kimberly and back. What's up?
Oh, hi. So you're speaking about this transgender individual in a very disrespectful manner, I hope you know. You're missing a lot of the points about being transgender. The thing is, this girl, she's a girl. She chose to be a girl. You keep referring to her as a boy, and that's incredibly disrespectful. And
wasn't she born a boy? You're talking about the high school player on the varsity girls softball team, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here in the area. We didn't mention what school.
Yeah.
I would not do that.
She is still a boy, right?
No, she has
the caller
penis,
did.
but she's still female. That's how it works.
But she has a testosterone, which makes her
There's rules
stronger
for
than
what
the
callers
average
can say
bear.
and what you can say.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's some females out there who have a lot of testosterone.
Yeah, everybody's got
But they're
testosterone
females.
and
They're born females. They're still
estrogen.
female.
Oh, that's how that works.
The ability,
everybody.
I don't think people realize how close men and women really are
Yeah.
No,
genetically.
but
Well, it
having
certainly
a
can
penis.
it certainly
makes-
can be used as a backup glove, can it? Just ask it.
Brilliant. The thing about being transgender, though, it's this kind
These
of spread
fuckers are just
misinformation
yucking it up,
about
hating on
lives.
people, and this is what they do.
You know
Listen,
what,
here's the thing.
what you want to do with your body and what sex you want to be is your business.
And
I've
we
got no
embrace
problem
it.
with that. Kimberly's got
They
no
embrace
problem
it.
with that.
This is embracing
we just
it.
don't think the city of Rochester.
Welcome to the lying part of our portion.
Yeah.
All right, we just realized what the hell we said.
Hey, is that shoe rubber that I taste? My tongue tastes funny.
And backpedal.
I mean, we love the transgender freaks.
Taxpayers should be on the hook for that. That's all.
Nor do I think if you're transgendered, should you get to, if you're a boy,
should you get
who
to
in your
play?
mind you're a girl, and maybe you've gone through the process, you shouldn't be able to play on the girls' varsity. You have advantages. You have strength
They are
advantages.
welcome to
You
have that
hormone
opinion, though.
advantages.
You
This
sh-
is
you
not
should
right.
be
that's what
playing on
the
the
opinions
boys'
and assholes,
baseball
sir.
team.
And
Can I explain to you another thing, please?
sure.
City taxpayers do pay for school sports teams because it's school tax, right?
Right.
Nobody pays for a transgender person's stuff, treatment and care and all that. It does come out of pocket.
Well, they're only paying so much of it. If you work for the city of Rochester, the city's insurance is now going to pay for it.
How many people do you think they're actually talking about
and
here?
that would-
They're
that was
high
one of our
deductible,
conversations.
copay-based insurance.
Was there 3 transgender people that are waiting on surgery that work for the city of Rochester?
Other high deductible insurance.
The
Let
city
these
of
3 have
Rochester
their fucking
insurance
day.
now paying for transgender
Or don't.
individuals.
Put it to a
was
vote.
just kind of a conversation within a
I
conversation.
don't know about that either.
Got it?
Still, it's incredibly
I don't know about that either.
disrespectful towards transgender people. Please don't spread any misinformation, especially when you're joking about it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We got
All right, okay.
Right
Caller-
there. Right, did you hear him?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Fuck
you,
you,
sir.
you asshole.
You're an
Why are you being a
asshole.
dick?
I will point out that the caller really did have the personality and sense of humor of a burnt match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that
Crispy
person.
chicken.
That person listens to Kimberly and Beck, which means sometimes that person's laughing. But this time they were talking about that person.
Well, exactly. And comedy's always funny till it hurts your feelings.
Yeah, until it's your feelings that are hurt. Then it's shit ain't funny.
I'm walking out of here.
I think that's pretty much the bulk of the audio. I don't think we're going to get anything more out of that. That's as terrible as they got.
Is the rest of it just listening to their radio show?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just kind of them like
Oh
being
my
like,
God, so-
ha, 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 we're so funny. Let's hate on people.
Oh, okay, we're done. Thank you.
Okay.
Goodbye. Holy shit. Oh, my God. All right. I was listening to morning radio while I made my podcast. Not only did I feel like I was about to implode on myself because of the paradigm that was happening, I wanted to kill everything and everybody around me.
Yeah,
And that, I mean, more specifically you.
whatever.
Because you made me do it. It was your fault.
Yeah, that
Your fault.
Kimberly and Beck is not my favorite show, man.
Oh, my
It's-
God,
it
do
was,
I hate them so much it hurts.
It was difficult for me to listen to that audio one time, but then I thought, I'll do a 2-time for AirWreckRadio.
I'd like to point out that we just spent a half an hour shitting on them for being hateful cunts.
Felt good, didn't it?
But do you see the irony there?
No, the irony is in the fact that I never hit record. That's absolutely not true.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no, I was concerned for a minute, though, that I didn't. But I definitely did. Folks, this here been your first breaker, AirWreckRadio. We will be back.
No, we had more. Okay.
Folks, I really froze Cory up hard on that one, so we took a quick break to get it back together. We did just spend a half hour shitting on Kimberly and Beck for being
Shitting on
cunts.
them for being hateful cunts.
I dislike that show.
Oh, God, it's terrible. Now, if you are a listener and you were offended by the things that Kimberly and Beck say, you have the right to be offended.
And you can fire them.
And you have the right to voice your opinion.
You can also
And
just change the channel.
The most effective way to shield yourself, that's where I was going.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stepped on your dick there.
It's okay, though. It felt
Luckily,
kinda
you're
good.
transgender.
It's a little kinky.
Ha, 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 ha,
ha. Look at us being hateful cunts. The easiest way to shield yourself from offensive words is to turn the dial. In this city alone, we have several radio stations. At least a couple of them are okay.
And almost all of them will play Flow commercials.
At least all of them. So, and if the advertisers backed out, let's say, because of the comments they made.
Yeah. You think Flo ain't a dude? Flo was not happy.
I could see something there.
She used to be
for
Flo
them
Rida.
to just get fired for saying words into a microphone, I don't necessarily agree. Now, again, I didn't like the words they said. If their advertisers had a problem or their listeners had a problem, that would make sense. But just for the station to go, well, we're just too scared to try. Whoops.
See, I feel like, lucky for us, we don't have listeners or advertisers, so we can't get fired.
No, we sure can't. We offend each other on a fairly regular
Pretty
basis.
regularly, yeah, for sure.
But that happened. So that's, I don't know. I don't feel that they maybe should have been fired. I mean, I heard it. It was offensive. It was rude. I don't know if I consider it a fireable offense.
I'm having
as
a
far
hard
as
time
being
thinking
a creative
about
personality.
My thing that really pushes them over the limit was they started picking on a high school kid.
You
think a high school kid that's transgender doesn't have enough bullshit in his life? He needs fucking 2 radio jackasses beating him up?
That's a very fair point. That's a very fair point, and I can see your opinion there, too.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Oh,
Fireable?
I don't know.
Not if they were public employees, but luckily they have bosses who are like, no, we need to protect our bottom line. Peace out, bitches.
Perfect.
Plus, on the other hand, Kimberly and Beck hate on everything all the time. They hate the middle class and the lower middle class. My God, they hate them.
I just feel because it's broadcasted radio that there's a free speech argument to be made here. That though it might have been rude and offensive and your advertisers might have backed out because your listeners stopped listening, would be free market sense.
Well, that's really the problem is that
but there is a sense
their
of free
advertisers
speech.
would back out.
But the advertisers, what I'm saying is that if the advertisers backed out because the listeners stopped listening to the show, they turned their radio dial.
In this situation, the corporation would say it's their free speech to fire their employees as they please. And this is a fire for any reason state.
Folks, don't go away. Don't turn that radio dial. They
can't. This is the internet.
I don't
Well,
know.
they can go away. They can go away very easily. Have you seen how much porn is on the internet? Damn.
Don't distract them.
Go check out some porn. We'll be right back.
Yes, that one.
She said it's cold outside and she handed me my raincoat. She's always worried about things like that. She said it's all gonna end and it might as well be my fault. She only sleeps when it's raining, and she screams, and her voice is straining. She says, baby, it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. When she says, baby, I can't help but be scared of it all. Sometimes rain's gonna wash away, I believe it. She's got a little bit of something, God is better than nothing. But in a color portrait world, she believes that she's got it all. She swears the moon don't hang quite as high as it used to. She only sleeps when it's raining. She screams, and her voice is straining. She says, baby, it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. When she says, baby, I can't help but be scared of it all. Sometimes rain's gonna wash away, I believe it. Believes that life is made of all that you're used to. And the clock on the wall was been stuck on 3 for days and days. She thinks that happiness and madness is on her doorway. But outside stops raining. Yeah, when she says, baby, it's 3 a.m., I must be lonely. When she says, baby, I can't help but be scared of it all. Sometimes rain's gonna wash away, I believe it.
Oh, hey. I guess it's my turn to bring it back. How y'all doing?
Back to the old format.
If you're listening to AirWreck Radio, we'd like to thank you for listening to AirWreck Radio. And while you're listening to AirWreck Radio, we'd also like to ask you... Shush. Shush you. We'd also like to ask you to stop on by rocpodcast.com. And check out all the fine podcasts that we share a little bit of internet space with. They're terrific. Some of them are more terrific at times than others. We might be the terrificest. Probably not.
I think we are. And don't forget to check out Vinnie Paulino's podcast that is televised on Channel 18 here in Rochester on WBG-TV. Shoot to Thrill Podcast. Find it in your local browsers.
All right. And now that's out of the way, Cory, let's do some headline news.
All right.
Headline news.
Tonight in the headlines, Cory, big news from the world of mind control. In the Vienna University of Technology, a team of researchers has learned to control the minds of fruit flies. And by control the minds of fruit flies, what I really mean is activate light receptors or heat receptors on various parts of the fly's body to make the fly in different directions.
Through stimulus?
Yeah, and some kind of remote control device. So this headline sounded really cool, but the bottom fell out of it
fast.
This is a lie. Yeah, I got like 2 lines into this story.
They're
I was
using
like, "Yep."
stimulus to control its response. That's not mind control.
Well, it's simulated stimulus, so it still kind of is mind mind control, but they're just activating receptors.
It's high-tech stimulus.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. This is a bullshit story. I was all excited.
Yeah.
I was like, well, Nintendo in 1984 came up with a game that predicted the... No. No. This is bullshit.
This is not. This is a non-starter. So,
all right.
To the starters.
Moving on. I've got one. Sweet makers work to keep names off e-cigarette brands.
Sweet makers.
Off the Associated Press. Owners of brands geared toward children of all ages are battling to keep notable names like Thin Mint, Tootsie Roll, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch off the flavored nicotine used in electronic cigarettes.
Well, that's good, right? I'm pretty sure I'm on board with that.
I'm pretty sure I'm on board with that as well.
I don't particularly want to see a Tootsie Roll flavored.
I certainly understand the
e-cigarette.
implications of why people would be like, the children.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not usually a the children guy. I get this one.
Yeah, this one's a little, like we've already seen this once.
It's pretty obvious. Okay.
Fred Flintstone told kids nothing beats a lucky strike. And then, like, all those kids died of cancer. That's true. That's how that happened.
Wow, that was a morbid fun fact.
No, Fred Flintstone killed millions.
Morbid fact.
Yeah.
General Mills Incorporated, the Girl Scouts of the USA, and Tootsie Roll Industries are among several companies that have sent cease and desist letters to makers of liquid nicotine, demanding they stop using the brands and may take further legal action if necessary. They want to make sure their brands aren't being used to sell an addictive drug or make it appealing to children.
Also, there's no reason to have a... Well, no, you know what? I'm going to take the other end. There's a vodka company that has Sweet Tarts vodka.
Gummy Bear vodka.
But I'm pretty sure those companies paid the vodka company.
Yeah, there's
somebody's getting paid there. Like
there's a Fruit Loop vodka. Like, that's real branded.
Somebody definitely said, that's okay. I'm pretty sure somebody said, no, we're good with that. Go ahead and do that. You just give us some money or we'll give you some money. It's good advertising.
I don't know. Maybe because there's enough regulation on alcohol already that keeps it from being marketed towards children. Like liquor stores, you can't sell liquor in a store.
Yeah.
You can only sell it in a store that you can only be 21 to enter.
Which is bullshit, but at least it keeps small businesses.
That is good for small businesses. And I'm not against that. You got to keep the special boozy shit, the special shit in a special room.
Yeah.
Where only 20 people over the certain age limit can get to it. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it just for the small business thing, but I can be all right with it for your thing too.
Nicotine and e-cigarettes are sold in gas stations and grocery stores.
Yeah.
Where there are children.
Damn it.
There's
people,
going to be. I mean, there's no way to
leave
avoid
your kids at home. They'll be fine.
Unattended with the stove on.
You can totally leave a 2-year-old at home for 20 minutes or an hour, right? That's all right. If it's nap time, he ain't going nowhere. Don't do that. It's a bad idea.
Child Protective Services.
Jesus Christ, now we're going to get fired.
Good job, Stacey.
Bring it home.
Loser.
Meanwhile, back in Tobacco Land.
The actions highlight the debate about the array of flavors available for the battery-powered devices that heat a liquid nicotine solution, creating vapor that the users inhale.
Well, I think we know how an e-cigarette works by now.
We do.
Well, I know.
But maybe not the listeners.
No, they've heard us tell them.
Oh, that's a good
They
point.
know, we know.
The Food and Drug Administration last month proposed regulating electronic cigarettes, but didn't immediately ban on fruit or candy flavors. I thought I read that wrong, but I read that right.
Can I tell you?
The Food and Drug Administration last month proposed regulating electronic cigarettes, but didn't immediately ban on
all right,
fruit or candy flavors.
Yeah, there's an on there that doesn't need to be.
All right. Like, I destroyed my whole train. Way to go, Associated Press, for derailing my podcast.
So, the Food and Drug Administration.
The FDA.
Can I just take a minute to talk about the Food and Drug Administration?
Well, sir, the floor is 50% yours. Feel free.
Thank you. Think for a moment about the name of the FDA. The Food and Drug Administration.
I administrate food and drugs.
I administrate food to make you sick and drugs to make you well.
Well-ish.
Yeah. Less well than you would have been if you had just had real
The right
food,
food to
that
begin
was
with.
reasonably sourced and provided for millions of jobs that this country so sorely needs if we could just get back to agriculture. But The Food and Drug Administration. The truth is in their name. Meanwhile, in e-cigarette land,
the truth is in the federal department's name.
the Food and Drug Administration. Their job is to administer.
I get your point there, but I just never thought I'd heard the words uttered together that the truth is in the name. That sounds like transparency.
It sort of is. It's like when they said, "We're going to give you a more transparent government." This is going to be called the age of transparency. Remember when they said that? Barack Obama's inauguration speech.
Several thousand times during his campaign, he said that.
And during his inauguration speech, he said, "The age of transparency," or something to that effect. And we all applauded and thought, "That's great," but we didn't realize that he meant it's not a more transparent government; it's a more transparent people. But if you look careful, we got a little transparency in the Food and Drug Administration. It's just the same kind of transparency as telling the American people it's going to be a time of transparency.
Very cloak and dagger, sir.
Yes.
Very cloak and dagger.
Yeah.
E-cigarettes are a growing industry that have reached nearly 2 billion sales last year. In the face of looming regulation, they still reached $2 billion in sales as a booming industry.
I mean, that's $2,000 million. So that's no small feat.
Oh, excuse me. E-cigarette users say the devices address both the addictive and behavioral aspects of smoking without the thousands of chemicals found in regular cigarettes.
Well,
Whoa!
I don't know about that, but I've said something similar to that before. I think I said it's just as good for quenching the oral stimuli and some of the physical reactions, but it's definitely still full of chemicals. I mean, it's just not carbon and shit.
Can you tell me all the ingredients that are in your nicotine syrup?
I can. Would you like me to?
All right, start listing them.
I don't want to.
All right. There are about 1,500 e-liquid makers in the U.S. and countless others abroad selling vials of nicotine from traditional tobacco to cherry cola on the internet in retail stores.
How fucked up is it that in the future, which is now, in the future, the drugs sold in vials in liquid form on the internet is nicotine. It's not some new kind of E-speed or any kind of garbage.
What was the name of the drug from RoboCop? Shit.
Stim. It's not. It's not the spice. It's it's fucking nicotine, and you can buy it on the internet in a glass vial.
Oh, very, very cloak and dagger. I'm seeing a theme here. Often featuring photos of popular treats. Using the brand names like Thin Mint or Fireball conjures up a very specific flavor to buyers' minds, and in a way that just mint, chocolate, or cinnamon doesn't.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that there's no reason that any kind of tobacco... If I own Thin Mints and you want to own something called Thin Mints, you better come through me.
You best pay me, motherfucker!
Yeah, man. Like, I better approve that. And we better work out a deal, because if you do it behind my back, that's stealing.
Definitely infringement.
That's an intellectual property, man. You can't just, Metallica sued. Shocker. Metallica sued somebody, but it wasn't just their fans. It was also Revlon for releasing a line of lipstick called Metallica.
Well, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Well, this story goes on and on and on, but I'm pretty sure we got the gist
I'm pretty sure.
of the story.
Meanwhile,
back at the ranch.
more like the range. This is a terrible segue.
Oh, my
Help
God.
me, save me from that.
It sounded like one of your rehearsed pieces.
I know,
Don't
it was
do
terrible.
that.
But funny you should say one of my rehearsed pieces. So I was reading Pop Sci, I was Pop Sci this week, and there was an article.
Sounded like a motherfucker.
There was an article about a bathtub ring that's formed on Lake Mead. Do you know what Lake Mead is?
No.
All right, Lake Mead is the lake right behind the Hoover Dam.
Okay.
Like,
it is what the dam is damming.
Yes.
All right.
You got it. There is a 120-foot high bathtub ring on the rocks surrounding Lake Mead, the lake which operates as a reservoir for the Colorado River at the Hoover Dam. The ring is the result of a 14 years, drought, which has enveloped the American Southwest and is the worst drought to afflict the region since record-keeping started in 1906. Did you even know there's been a drought in the Midwest for 14 years?
Not 14 years running. I know there's a drought every year.
Apparently, it's a little more than, like, when you add it up. That's what a drought 14. You just don't ever think of it in those terms if you think of it at all.
Yeah, no, like I always say, oh yeah, we have a drought every damn year. The Midwest always runs out of water. It happens every year. California does it. California runs out of electricity during the summer every year.
Corey, I swear to God, did you read my story?
No, sir.
You know the things that come next. Currently, Lake Mead, the lake that the Hoover Dam dams, currently the surface is 1,108 feet above sea level. If the water falls as little as another 50 feet, the first of the lake's intake pipes will start sucking air. These are the pipes that take the water to the people, to the treatment plants, and spread it out. The Water Authority is building a third and final intake, a 3-mile-long, 24-foot-wide bathtub drain for the lake, 860 feet above sea level at the very bottom of Lake Mead. Why does that matter, you might ask?
I was too busy being annoyed and upset and shaking my head. Well, Stacey, please explain why this might matter.
Lake Mead provides water to communities throughout the Southwest, including Los Angeles and Las Vegas. In fact, Las Vegas gets about 90% of its water from Lake Mead.
Oh, that's fun. Well, it's you built a giant city in a desert.
Now, it turns out this isn't just Las Vegas, and it's not just Los Angeles. California,
Los Angeles,
Nevada, Ohio. I'm sorry, not Ohio. Utah,
Great Lakes,
and New Mexico,
Utah,
and Texas all get a ton of their water from Lake Mead.
Fuck, this is a big lake.
Like 90% of the fresh water consumed.
It's a big lake.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So, this article prompted me to read a little more on some other things. I was curious about where's that water going to go? Like, what's that going to affect if that water goes?
Well, every living thing.
Yeah, the first thing was agriculture. That really was what came to my mind, was like, wow, they make a lot of food in those states. According to the USGS.gov website, California alone consumes between 15 and 25 billion gallons of water per day to be used in agricultural irrigation. All by itself, California produces more than 95% of Americans' artichokes, walnuts, kiwis, plums, celery, and garlic. They also produce...
Isn't he a garlic farmer?
Hell yeah, man. My farm stinks, but I'm rich, bitch. Well, I'm moderately wealthy, bitch.
They put my shit in everything.
They also produce 89% of the nation's cauliflower, 71% of spinach, and 69% of carrots. The list for California
all right, we get
goes
it.
on
we
and
get it.
on. Of the other states in the area, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, and New Mexico each use between 1 and 5 billions of gallons of water.
Billions of gallons.
They use a shit ton of water. A shit ton.
What one might call a dick load.
I will post the written story on the website, but they use a shit ton of water. Taken as a whole, the entire Southwest accounts for nearly 28% of America's cattle, 40% of the dairy, 50% of cotton, 90% of grapes. I like wine. Please don't take my wine away or make it very expensive because we're out of water to feed the grapes. Please don't do this.
I just like to stop on you for a second there.
99.3% of the lettuce. Continue.
We happen to just be lucky enough to live in an area full of great local vineyards.
Yeah, this kind of scarcity, that's a good point.
Full of great local vineyards.
However,
living here in Western New York.
How much do you think those grapes are going to be worth when the Midwest is out of water?
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying.
Because we will have water long after the Midwest does, but by long after...
Oh, my God, will we?
By long after, I mean, not as long as you'd like to think when the whole rest of the world wants to buy it, too, and it's been privatized.
If we're talking about spreading it out.
Yeah.
As far as using it like we use it now,
do
we have some water.
Water might become a problem, folks. Pay attention. it might be a problem because, like, if you don't have water, you don't have crops.
We spend an awful lot of time talking about it on this show.
It's important.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Crops? Who wants to grow food? Knock it off.
You like almonds? If they can't grow anything in the Southwest, you'll have 0 almonds.
How about almond beer? Let's make some almond beer.
0 almonds were given that day.
Oh, boo. This is terrible. This is terrible.
Basically, to sum it up, under America's current agricultural system, if the Southwest goes dry, and it's sure is lining up to go dry, the Lake Mead is 50% empty. You can expect your diet.
I like how they put the drain at the bottom.
Well, that's
they
where
literally symbolize that we're going to suck every last drop.
Yeah. You got to see the picture of this. It's impressive. You can see this white lime deposit, or whatever deposit it is. It's some deposit from the water level as it's receded, and it's just this single stripe around the whole lake because it's like
where it's supposed to be, where it is now.
Right, half empty or half full. I mean,
why do we got to be so negative?
All the motherfrackers out there would say that's a lake half full.
That's a motherfracker right
We
there.
better use that water and pump for oil. Because if we don't pump for oil, Corey, America dies. Freedom dies. If we don't get that oil out of that ground under Pennsylvania.
Freedom, mister!
If we don't cause them earthquakes to kill them people in Pennsylvania, America dies.
Not California, mister!
Yeah, we got to take the water from the agriculture, man, or America dies.
I'll vote for you, mister!
It's so gross. Pay attention, folks. Pay attention. It's gross out there.
Ugh. Icky Puskapi.
In a less preachy story, the human malaria parasite infected about 207 million people throughout the world in 2012 and was responsible for the deaths of 627,000 people throughout the world.
There's a new craze sweeping the globe.
Yeah.
It's the malaria diet. Drop pounds in minutes.
You can't get rid of that
Now on
weight.
the malaria diet.
We'll get rid of that weight.
Just drink some dirty stream water from Vietnam.
Well, good news.
Welcome
Thanks to the Monsanto
malaria.
Corp, your dirty stream water at home is just as good as that Vietnamese dirty stream water.
Malaria. Part of any healthy young growing boy's diet. Malaria. American institution.
At the Seattle Biomedical Research Institute, researchers are working on creating mosquitoes that would vaccinate people rather than infect them.
Oh, what?
Yeah, did you get that? They're making mosquitoes.
That is cooler than hyperspray.
Isn't that better than a hyperspray? They're making, instead of having to go see a doctor, you just go see the mosquitoes. And instead of having them make you dead, they vaccinate you for malaria.
Woohoo! Will it make you? Can they make them not itchy too? Like, do I still have to suffer the consequences of the itchy?
You ever heard of the law of unintended consequences? There's another
No,
law.
fuck you.
It's called keep it simple, stupid.
I want this perfect. I don't want to be out there because, it'd be great. I'll be out there with off and long sleeve shirts on and citronella candles and tiki torches and a fire, and I will be the one guy who didn't get the goddamn vaccination because I can't deal with the itchy mosquito bites. But they make me itch when I'm
But they
sleeping.
already itch. You see, they already itch. So, they also already give you malaria. So wouldn't you rather have... if the choice, Corey, if the choice was you could get bit by a mosquito that would not give you malaria or one that would make you not itch from that one particular mosquito bite, which one would you choose?
I feel like I'm on the spot. This is a lot of pressure. I can't handle this. Clearly, I choose the one that made you not itch. No, I choose the malaria vaccination.
Well,
I'm just saying, I'd be more likely to want mosquito bites if they didn't itch.
This isn't about making you want a mosquito bite. It's about making it less deadly should one alight on you and feast on you like a dirty vampire.
I take it back. Not cooler than hypospray.
All right, fine. On those grounds, fine. It's not cooler than a hypospray.
Hypospray don't make me itch.
These researchers at the Seattle Biomedical Research Institute have achieved a 56% effectiveness rate in studies vaccinating...
That's terrible.
That's great. Are you kidding me?
It's funny how that number really, from both sides of what we just said, are just totally accurate.
If an American president got elected at 56%, that'd be a landslide.
If we cured 56% of polio, we would not claim to have cured polio.
That's true, but I mean, this is just one step in the fight against malaria and all of the billions of parasites that we.
But this is a successful rate for the mosquitoes, not the actual disease. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. If
I'm
that's...
sorry. I didn't mean to be all shitty and negative.
No, I don't know if I think you might have a point. This summer, we'll see a dozen human volunteers exposed to vaccine-harboring mosquitoes, followed eventually by a batch of bugs with full-strength malaria parasite.
That's how we do the control. First we'll build the antidote, then we'll build the poison. We'll launch them on the world and see what happens.
You nailed it. I think you nailed it. This study implicates that they've been studying how to turn mosquitoes into malaria super weapons. And they also want to have a cure readily to disperse. I mean,
for us,
I don't want to get mosquitoes can get really far, really fast, man.
Like really quickly.
We're a global society. You can't just have these mosquitoes getting on airplanes and jet setting 6 hours later to. Or even one guy bitten by a mosquito with malaria comes to here.
We have the new zombie movie.
Malaria. Night of the uncomfortably vomiting and puking.
Until your insides liquefy and you die.
Yeah, until you die.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody dies. I mean, I hope not, because if they're going into this with a 56% effectiveness rate, and they're going with a dozen human,
I
hope not everyone dies.
I wonder what the LD50 on malaria is. I'm just saying.
Go, you need this much. Or some of that really good shit.
Dude, put your dick away.
Moving on.
Was that hard? Was it my turn?
Yes.
Hackers helped thwart 300 cyber attacks. New York Associated Press. A prolific computer hacker who infiltrated the servers of major corporations later switched sides and helped the government disrupt hundreds of cyber attacks on Congress, NASA, and other sensitive targets, according to federal prosecutors.
What a turncoat.
Dick.
But I mean, then on the other hand, who knows what these attacks entailed?
Might have been nuclear destruction. You never know. New York prosecutors detailed the cooperation of Hector Xavier Monsegur.
No, not Monsegur.
Monsignor.
There, whatever.
For the first time in court papers while asking a judge to reward him with leniency at his sentencing Tuesday. They credited Monsegur with helping them cripple Anonymous, the notorious crew of hacktivists who stole confidential information, defaced websites, and temporarily put some victims out of business, like my PSN.
Cripple Anonymous is an awesome name for a fucking band or like a rapper. I think that's the guy that makes our theme song. I think his name is Cripple Anonymous. I'm pretty sure that's he's OG Cripple Anonymous.
MC Cripple.
Whatever.
MC Crip. Nigga.
No, that's not who he is. That implies something entirely different. Wrong.
Working around the clock with FBI agents at his side, Monsegur provided in real-time information about then ongoing computer hacks and vulnerabilities in significant computer systems. The FBI estimates he helped detect at least 300 separate hacks, preventing millions of dollars in losses. After his arrest and guilty plea in 2011, Monsegur faced more than 2 decades behind bars, but because of his cooperation, the sentence could be 2 years or less.
Well, okay. I mean,
seems like a bone.
You did help out. You stopped some attacks. I'd like to know the details of these attacks, but I bet that that's protected information.
Click if they shut us off.
Yeah.
Court papers say Monsegur first began hacking in Manhattan apartment in early 2000s. His aim then was to steal credit card information, then sell it or use it to pay his own bills. In a 2011 interview with an online magazine, Monsegur said he decided to join forces with Anonymous because he was upset over the arrest of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange.
Assange. Yeah, Julian Assange.
I'm just doing what I know how to do, and that is counter the abuse, he said.
So he, he's your general, I guess, kind of hacker guy. He started out, he was like, I need to pay my bills, but I ain't got no goddamn job because there's no farms for me to work at. Man.
Yeah, that seemed
I guess I'll have to be a hacker.
Draw.
Well, he's white, right? So he can't be a... Well, he's... I guess he's...
His name is Hector Xavier Monsiger.
Yeah, man, everybody said that kid that shot Trayvon was Mexican. This guy could be white. You don't know.
Yeah, George Zimmerman.
Yeah. They said he was a Mexican.
He's a Mexican.
Or Latin American or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yo, Holmes, he's a Mexican.
Anyway. Dude starts out, stealing credit card information. So that's
give me your shit.
He's already had a life of crime, robbing people. That's robbing people.
Oh, like he's Jesse James.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little more computer savvy than Jesse James. So he's been robbing people, and then he moved up, and then he got into some stuff. He got into some heavy stuff. It's a little too heavy for him. And then the FBI picked him up, and they shook him down, and he was like...
They were like, okay, you want to do
this?
this?
No, I'll be cool. I'll play the game.
You want to go to jail?
Yeah.
Or do you want to do what I say?
Yeah. It's you or your friends, buddy. Somebody's going to jail tonight. But anyway, that's how the legal system works.
He's not hardcore mafioso or gangsters. He's a computer nerd. He was like, them. It was them. They did it.
Yeah.
It was them over there. Please don't hurt me. I don't want to get bumped right in jail. Yeah. Please don't hurt me, and I'm sure I barely know my rights anyway.
So homie gets 2 years, which honestly...
Mosagu?
Yeah. But I'm going to go with homie.
All right.
That's much easier to pronounce.
Yo, Holmes.
Homie gets 2 years instead of 20. Honestly, nobody should do 20 years
10%.
for hacking. There should be some better system of...
I tell you, 10% seems like a hell of a discount.
That's a great deal.
That's a
honestly,
fucking coupon right there.
Hey, man, I'd have told on you for that kind of deal. I'd have made shit up. If they said, homie, if they said to me, Stace, you're going to jail and it don't matter what for.
Holmes, you're going to jail, son.
It's either you or Cory, so you better get making shit up. And I'd be like, oh, this motherfucker, you don't even want to know what I can make up about him.
Stacey's a pederast.
Say some horrible shit real quick. So I can't really blame this guy.
I already beat you to it. Starting in early 2011 and using the alias Sabu Monsiger, led an anonymous splinter group called Luz Security. Lulz.
You do it for the lulz.
I get it. Or LulzSec, which hacked computer systems of Fox Television, Nintendo, PayPal, and many other businesses. Stole private information and then bragged about it on the online.
Well, you got to brag about it if you want people to know. You think the Taliban releases response videos for our benefit?
The group was loosely affiliated with Jeremy Hammond, the FBI's most wanted cybercriminal, whose stated objective was to cause mayhem with the attacks, prosecutors say. So, the man turned to hacker on the hacktivists to keep the hacktivists down. But this really is a story that confuses all of the parts of my soul because I don't know what side I'm on.
Well, and that's how it works. When you get such arguments as both of these sides make, you're going to be a little conflicted.
I like what Anonymous stands for a lot of the time, but
Me
I also
too.
believe that they're cyberbullies.
I also
a
believe
lot of
that.
the time.
Yep. Like.
Also, how dangerous is it for one man to go after a loosely knit group of activists? You get a splinter cell that's against you, and you might have a serious problem.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's a good thing that it works the other way for these. This is just a control. This happens all the time. This kind of thing. It's just this is a fine example.
Can't you just picture it? The FBI picks this kid up in a black Tahoe, and he's all like young and sweating and nervous because he's surrounded by FBI agents. They're giving them the proposition.
I don't think the FBI is that classy anymore. I'm more inclined to think that a bunch of fucking armor-clad SWAT team, machine gun toting individuals kicked in this kid's door, scared the Jesus out of him.
Oh, and while the boot was on the back of his head, he was given his new marching orders?
Yeah, pretty much something like set him up in a holding tank for a while and let him chill out with his post-traumatic stress syndrome, because that's how they deal with criminals. And he was a criminal. I said it. I think so too. But and this is complete conjecture. I don't think the story says anything about that, but I've heard a lot of stories about how that's how it gets done more often than, hey, you want to not go to jail, homie?
What you got cooking? Sorry.
You need to talk to me. They don't do that. They scare the shit out of you and then say, it's time to talk.
Oh, God, I'm going to go to jail. I want my mommy. Something like that?
Something like that.
All right, fair enough. Well, that's what I have.
That's what you got on this story? All right. Well, then, folks, that's headline news tonight.
Sounds good to me.
We will see you on the other side of a brief break.
Ooh. Thank you for listening, however you listen. iTunes, Stitcher, AirWreckRadio.com, or ROCPodcast.com. It's been a long time since we actually plugged something.
That's a good point. You know, while we're doing that, I have another plug that I thought of.
Throw it in there?
Yeah, I actually had a couple other plugs that I've been thinking about that we haven't said anything nice about any of our fellow pod friends. Folks, why don't you head on down to 1548 Buffalo Road to First Print Comics and buy some comic books.
Oh, with some cash. Show your love with some cash. You know how else you can do that? You can donate to them. You can go to their website,
SickerPrints.com,
and throw them some cash over the website.
This shit ain't free.
It ain't.
They'll be the first ones to tell you.
You know who else you can donate to?
AirWreckRadio.
AirWreckRadio.
We take your bitcoins, those worthless bitcoins.
Either that cash, worthless cash.
It's not even worth anything. It's the paper it's written on.
Or
isn't even paper anymore.
Worthless electronic bitcoins.
Also, you can feel free to go, when you go into Amazon to buy something, why don't you stop over to the Mental Overload Show's website and use their portal to get to Amazon.
We should actually do that for ourselves.
Well, but we don't, and they do. So why don't you go to Mental Overload and use their portal to Amazon, and they'll get crumbs from your purchase. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but they'll get some crumbs. This has been your AirWreck Radio quick pimpin' section for the ROC podcast with things to sell.
Oh, yeah. Get out there, bitch, and suck it.
I used to be in a metal band. I was the drummer in a metal band.
Oh God, here we go again.
Actually, in two metal bands, but in one of the metal bands, we had a song called "The Price of the Pretzel was 666." It was an awesome song.
The price of the pretzel is 666.
You got it, man. It's about the dude. He had the munchies. The price of the pretzel is 666. Hey, man, you heard it. Cool, cool. You heard the song. No, that's pretty much it. He was like, dude had the munchies, right? But he didn't have any money or enough money for anything but a tiny bag of pretzels or something. So he like sold his soul for a bag of pretzels. Yeah. He says, now I wish I'd have got the fish sticks. This is an awesome song. It's terrific. It was meant to be used as a tie-in to...
It was certainly a great laugh, I'll tell you that much, sir. I want to get the fish sticks.
It was a good song, man. It was our only good song.
With the heavy drum release.
No, I wasn't a very good drummer, man. It's just true. I was just not a very good drummer at the time.
Oh, you were boom.
This is like my very first high school band. It was not good.
We're gonna make it fucking huge.
Without me, they got better, man. They went on and do live shows and shit. So I mean,
you were a rehearsal member, were you?
No, I was like an original member, but it wasn't my bag,
I'm an
man.
original member of that band, man, but they threw me out. They tossed me aside, man. See, I wanted to be creative. I had inspiration.
No, I didn't have any of that.
They didn't want to hear it, man. They wanted to do their same old square lame ways, man.
Here's how it was, man. They were like, hey, we heard you got drums. And I was like, I do have drums. They were like, hey, you want to come play drums for us?
You want to be in our band?
I was like, whatever. And then we got together and played a couple of times, and like, I wasn't a metal drummer by any stretch of the imagination. I did not have those kind of skills at all. So when I left that band, they all thought I was going to be mad when they were like,
You were all like drummer
Hey,
boy, dude.
they like approached it all. No, I was not like drummer boy. I just was like, I learned to play Southwestern music while I was concerned about Southwestern water shortages. So
We got both kinds of music here, country and western.
yeah, exactly. So I was not a metal. I liked metal, but I was not a metal drummer by any stretch of the imagination. So we parted ways, and they thought that I was going to be mad. Like I ran into a couple of those guys later, and they were like nervous to approach because they thought I'd be mad. I was like, duh. What would I be mad? I mean, this was a high school metal band, man. That guy, he always needed to be drunk to play anything on guitar. And I didn't drink, so like I really didn't have that defense. Plus, I sucked at metal at the time.
Apparently, I stink at this, guys. I'm going to step out gracefully. Have a nice day.
In other news, later in life, I went on to be a drummer in a real metal band that was like really just me and one other guy, but we made really good metal music together. We just didn't have any singers or bassists or anything like that, but it was like a jamming thing. I turned into a pretty decent.
Aww, we made beautiful music together.
No, we didn't make beautiful music together. We made atrocious metal together.
We made really good metal, man. It was really, really masculine. It was real manly. We hung out, and, just the two of us. But there's nobody else around. But it's real masculine. Real manly, playing the metal music.
If you had played bass and I'd have known you, you could have played too, Corey. You don't have to be jealous. I don't know why you have to hate. Whatever. I was in 2 bands.
I hate
sorta.
you and your alternative ways. You strange musician, me band member guy.
Yeah. So what, man? That's why I know musicians. Meanwhile,
I'm intolerant of your difference.
Meanwhile, you like comedy.
Yes. Oh, see, I see. Right.
You can lead a horse to water, folks.
You can't make him drink.
Can he drink it?
No, he won't. He's going to throw up on your shoe and walk away. I had the great pleasure of seeing Dave Attell at the Main Street Armory here in Rochester last night.
Up all nights, Dave Attell?
Yes.
Insomniac Dave Attell?
Yes.
Recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, Dave Attell?
Yes.
He's a funny motherfucker.
Well, he's a funny New York comic, funny guy. It was featuring awesome local acts like Zach from 94.1 was the MC. Brian J. Ball, local funny man, out of the Joke Factory at the Holiday Inn.
I have seen Brian Ball a couple of times now. He is a very funny individual.
And everyone knows and loves Mr. Vincenzo Paulino.
Vinny is also a very funny individual, and he's our boss. So
I don't know about boss.
Well,
he
he's not
pay
our
us.
boss,
but he is the owner of ROC Podcasts.
He's the podfather. You know, he can't fire you, but he can break your fingers.
Or two. I laughed my fat tits off.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
I'm sitting right here. I can see that didn't happen.
I certainly tried. And I drank a lot of beer. Dude, it's a really awesome room. When I first, was
What
invited
room?
to go, the Main Street Armory, but in the basement.
The basement of the Armory. I've never been in there. I've been into the Armory. It sucks. Please redeem the Armory.
Oh, my, no, okay. When I first thought, I was like, wow, it's a terrible venue for music. It's got to be a terrible venue. It's going to be a terrible venue for comedy.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any good. The acoustics are terrible. It's a big empty room. It's a big square.
It's good for volleyball, which they host. They do have volleyball there.
That's what they should do there.
Yeah.
It's a big empty square. It's a good empty space for something like that. It's particularly warm, as in like 1 billion degrees.
Yes, at least 1 billion degrees
At
at
least.
any given moment.
Yes. But this was in the Armory basement, which I didn't even know there were. I mean, it's a building. It probably has a basement.
The
but
Armory,
I didn't even realize that was a room that they use as a venue.
The Armory's main room, in fact, I read this while I was researching my earlier news story, is responsible for at least 5% of the bathtub ring around Lake Mead.
That's very interesting. Well, it's because
it's
a
so
billion
hot
degrees.
in there.
I
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's so hot that it's actually caused some of Lake Mead's shrinkage.
It's evaporation from the Armory. All
Yeah.
right, makes sense.
Meanwhile, in the basement of the Armory,
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's a really cool. The walls are all painted black, and they've got graffiti, like iridescent graffiti all over the walls.
yeah,
Basement poles.
Is it
There's a
iridescent or fluorescent?
Fluorescent. Thank you.
Is it omniscient? Is it third person?
Is it you're an asshole?
I could be.
Okay. Poles in the middle of the room and all that. Pretty big room for a flat comedy space. Like it's a flat floor.
Yeah.
With chairs. And I got great seats. Like I didn't get there early.
It sounds like all the seats were equally great.
Well, the ones in the back would have been not as great.
Okay.
They would have been not as great.
So you were fairly close up?
I was right up there. I think I was probably 40 feet from the main stage, which wasn't too damn bad, considering the size of the room. I didn't get there early enough to get one of the tables in front, which I would have loved to have. But I kind of was on the side, and I didn't get a table, but I just grabbed 2 chairs from the wall as I was walking in. They were stacked against the wall. And I just grabbed 2 of them.
These must be for me.
These are reserved for me. I took them. I went to the bar. I bought 4 beers because I had a date.
Was that the other half of your stomach? That was not a fat joke, by the way. That was about like how...
That was insensitive and rude.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be insensitive or rude. I meant only to be jovial.
I was just referencing you as a cow with multiple stomachs. I dropped $20 on 4 beers so that we each had 2 to start.
That's a good move at a comedy club because you don't know how long it's going to be before that waitress gets back there.
It wasn't. Well, I kept going up to the bar.
Armory. Yeah, they don't have.
But it wasn't
waitresses.
bad. It wasn't bad at all.
No?
It really wasn't.
Okay.
Because I kind of hit the low periods. We made sure we didn't go at the busy runs, and we both split the duties. Me and the date.
Split the duties.
I see you're a comedian too. And we did multiple. We each dropped a 20. Like I dropped multiple 20s and she dropped 1. To get 4 beers in a row.
Yeah, that sounds like that's pretty much date economics.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
We drank like 8 beers each, and we're pretty drunk by the end of the show.
Word.
David Tell was hilarious.
I believe that.
Yeah,
especially if you're drunk. Great. I mean,
and it seemed to me, and maybe it's just his ability to act and be presentful on stage and all that. But it seemed to me like he was kind of comfortable because he did like a half an hour of his act, and then he kind of broke into some crowd work, and it was just very, very comfortable to watch him work the room. And I want to think maybe it was just that good of a room that he was able to have that kind of comfortable, positive thing going on for him.
Well, I mean, he's a really
or
good...
if it's just he's that good that he made the room like that.
He's a really known live comedian. Plus, like, when you go to see David Tell, you're going to see David Tell. You're not there on accident on David Tell
Live
night.
at the Rochester Main Street Armory. One night only, David Tell.
But for real, couldn't they have accommodated that at the joke?
The Joke Factory.
Thank you. The Joke Factory or...
Not this room.
No?
No, my God. If they had that many people in this room, they would have been spewing out the hotel room doors.
Well, that's bullshit. The hotel should get those people and take it as a loss because they'll make it up on the hotel rooms.
It's amazing. Like, it was a big crowd, but it wasn't such a big crowd that it was too... Like, I never want to go see comedy acts that are in arenas when you're one of 30,000 people watching this comedy act.
No, that doesn't really...
It doesn't have the feel.
No.
And
I get it. I get Dane Cook. It's the only way you're going to see him.
But I'd say there's probably 1,000 people in the room, but it was a really... Because the way the room was shaped and worked out and how good the vibe was in the room, it was really like a really good number for a big crowd. Everything was much funnier because, the crowd's laughing, you're laughing.
You get that rotational vibe, that...
Yeah, it's an emotional
feedback loop.
Yeah, a feedback loop. There you go. Hey, the content generator.
There it is. There it is, folks. You heard it here first. And other places before us.
And places like that.
And that's how it became a feedback loop.
Aw. Yeah. So I had a great freaking time. My liver was floating by the time I was done.
Terrific.
And my stomach hurt. And I got to show, the date. Oh, I know Brian. And I know Vinny.
Oh,
and
that's
I know
cool.
Zach.
Check out my table getting clout. Oh, you didn't get a table. I did.
No, but we got great
that's
seats.
Okay.
Man, I wish you were there. That'd have been... It's been fun times.
I know that feeling though, because when me and Tammy went to the fucking coffee place that isn't
Boulder Coffee.
No, not Boulder. The place where the
Love and Cup.
Love and Cup. That's it.
Okay, well, Boulder Coffee has an open mic night during the week. They're a big
Yeah, no,
supporter
this
of
was like
comedy
a
in the
comedy
area.
show. This was Vinny's TV
Love and
show.
Cup also does, a lot of comedy stuff.
Well, we got a table. It felt like having clout because it was a packed room, and they were like, "Hey, they said you were on the list," and the table just opened up.
Yeah, it's fun.
So it's a fun feeling when you get that. Like, this is why I got into podcasting for the clout.
I did that with another date at the Joke Factory. Vinny got me a table with their name on it, and I felt very thoughtful.
Whoa.
They checked me at the door, Cory. They're like, "Oh yes, Vinny told us you'd be here. Come on,
Folks,
come on,
if you're ever like, why do these guys kiss Vinny's ass so much? It's because he does thoughtful things like get your table clout
exactly
at his crowded ass show.
And
Because
it
he's
just
a
so-
hilarious comedian. Go see his ass
and it just
and his face and his jokes.
and watch him every week, 4 times a week on WBGTV Channel 18 here in local Rochester television.
Nobody should watch TV that much. I can't get behind that. But if you do watch TV that much,
It's on late at night,
Do
but
that.
you can check
Yeah.
your program guides.
set your
For the
DVR.
availability.
Then you only have to
Bingo.
watch TV once for 2 hours. You get 2 hours of TV right there. Bam. The
Oh.
Vinny Paulino comedy
Featured
sideshow mayhem and the
I don't know.
what the fuck is it? The Shoot to Thrill
Oh, Shoot to Thrill. Okay, I didn't know where you were going. I'm sorry, I was lost.
and the Shoot to Thrill podcast extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
That's not actually what it's called, but it works.
I'm doing it now. Extravaganza.
So if you're going to watch TV, do that, fine, whatever. But if you're not going to watch TV, might I suggest kayaking?
Kayak Extravaganza.
You will at least be entertaining for other people if you have a kayak.
All right, and how is that going to happen?
This week, in a new bit I'd like to call Stacey's Misadventures in Kayaking.
Stacey's a dumbass.
No. Stacey is surrounded by dumbasses and somehow manages to not get wet. So, I go to the...
Tell me more, Daddy. Tell me more.
I go to Canisius Lake this week. I'm like, fuck it. You know, the stream I've been kayaking on has gotten a little too high with all the rain, and it's moving way too fucking fast. It's not safe. Especially not for an amateur who just wants to fish and paddle around like me. Like, I'm not into it. Somebody better than me or more interested in that kind of thing than
With
me.
more of a kayak built for that kind of thing.
Just somebody who is into that kind of thing, that's their shit, dude. Right now, Honeyoy Creek, that's your shit. But for me,
Well, much.
that ain't my shit.
Well, I noticed your kayak's a little wider than like the White Rapid kayaks.
It's very stable.
Because it's nice for stable.
Yeah.
It's for fishing. It's for...
So I took it to Canisius Lake this week, and I did my first dock launch, which was I was a little nervous about it because I usually, like, you set it down half in the mud and half in the water.
Get it and scoot it.
Get in it and kind of hop it in and paddle it, and you're in real easy, but you don't have to, like, balance yourself getting in. I launched from a dock. I had to balance myself getting in and out.
Ooh. Out's a little better because at least you can just like push up and sit
Nah,
on the
out's worse.
dock.
I was definitely worse off without.
Really?
Yeah. Because I don't like feeling like
In's the rough one. Whoa.
I had to crawl to the dock, and I don't like being on my knees to crawl to it. It just makes me feel like that's not how you should do a thing, but that's the only fucking way I couldn't stand up in the kayak and step out like a fucking proper man. So I get in, right? Now, as I'm pulling my kayak out of the back of my truck, a dude in a Volvo pulls in, and he's got this kayak. It's got a sail. It's got 2 pontoons. I mean, it's got a sail. Like, we're talking a 14-foot mast. This is one of those narrow kayaks that, like, you sit into, and it hugs your hips a little bit. Your legs fit into 2 little leg holes.
Oh, yeah.
Not like mine, like where I can cross my legs or not cross my legs. And
Yeah, that's the difference. Like, you've got an all-terrain cruiser.
Yeah.
And he's got a speed demon.
Something like that, yeah. So he's pulling into the drive to the parking lot while I'm pulling my kayak out of my truck. I get it in the water, and I'm off and I'm fishing. For an hour and a half, I'm out on the lake. It's a little choppy, but whatever, man. I'm just out there paddling and having fun. By the way, get a kayak. It's a ton of fun.
I'm working on it.
It's fun. No, I don't mean you. I mean, I do mean you, but I also mean all the listeners. Get a kayak. There's so much water around here. Get a kayak. It's you don't need a license. You just get on it. You just get in it and paddle around, man. It's good for you. It's good for the environment. It's fun. It's nice to do. Do it. I'm telling you, do it. So I'm out for an hour and a half, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm coming back. It's getting a little windy out here. It's choppy as shit. It looks like it might start raining. I paddle back. I see this dude is on the dock, and I'm not sure if he's on the dock getting in or on the dock getting out. So I paddle off, down the stream a little ways. And the funniest thing happened. There's like a basketball court nearby where two kids were playing basketball. This is the stupidest thing I ever had happen. It feels like an 80s PSA, but this actually happened. Their basketball made it up over this fucking 18-foot basketball fence into the waterway. And I'm like,
beware the dangers of the creek.
Hold on, guys.
I got it.
I felt glad to be able to help them, like to be in the position to be able to help them. I feel like having a kayak is like a superpower.
Oh, yeah. So when you threw the ball back over.
it was terrible. I don't throw things. It's not what I do.
With one hand from a kayak?
So here's what I did, because I'm left-handed. And so I scoop the...
I knew there was something wrong with you.
I try to... I set my paddle in my left hand into the saddle hole or into the paddle saddle. We'll call it. That's not actually what it's called.
The paddle saddle.
Nice.
That is nice.
That is what it's called.
It's not what it's called now. Yeah.
I tried to set my paddle in the paddle saddle, but I let it go into the water in a moving kayak.
Whoa!
I got their ball. So you see where this could go wrong. You see the problem that might arise here. I set my paddle down into the water in a moving kayak, caught their ball, tossed their ball back. Luckily, my paddle is on a leash, so I pulled the leash back. But I was like, damn, that's why I bought a paddle leash right there. Because
see how easy that shit just happened?
I'd have had to get out and swim. I don't like swimming. I didn't get a kayak so I could swim. I got a kayak so I could enjoy the water.
You got you reaching your arms.
Yeah, doing the
side.
2-arm paddle over the side.
Oh God! I'll get there eventually.
So I get their ball and I toss it back to them, and I'm like, I sit there and I cast a little bit. I'm there for 10, 15 minutes watching this dude. He's still on the dock. Well, fuck this, dude. I told my wife I'd be home at 7. I got to get out. I don't care if this is bad etiquette at this point. You've been there 2 hours at this point.
Wow, really? Holy shit.
Yeah, man. Remember, he was pulling into the parking lot when I was pulling my kayak out of my truck and heading towards the water.
All right, fair enough.
So he's been there thinking about how he's going to get this fucking thing in. It's windy as shit, Corey. He's got his sail up. Now, before you laugh, I looked closely and couldn't really see how you unfurled the sail, but I know you must be able to cut the sail.
You would imagine.
You can't not need to have.
All of a sudden it's 70-mile-an-hour winds.
Perhaps his rigging wasn't right. Perhaps he just didn't know how to do it. So I pulled up and I was like, "Hey man, you need a hand? Like I'll hold it for you while you get in or whatever, you know." He was like, "No, I got to do this on my own." I'm like, "All right, man. No, that's cool. You got to learn how to do it. That's fine. I have to learn how to do it too." So I sat there another 5 minutes. He's got this boom sticking off of this thing. It's a 14-foot boom off the stern, off the back of the boat, facing away, and there's a GoPro on the end of it. I was like, "Yo, man, is that a GoPro?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, I got one on that boom, I got one on top of the sails, and I got one right here on his head." It's like, damn, that's a pretty nice little setup you got there. He was like, "Yeah, I figured, this is my first time out, but I figured, I might get some good footage or I might die." And I was like, "Well, it's good footage either way." And I didn't mean it like a dick, but
it just came out.
It did.
That sounded like a dick.
So at this point, I'm like, I don't got to. He's still not got. He's got half his boat in the water, but he keeps pulling it out and readjusting it. There's a little current going on. I mean, I wouldn't want to get into his boat, but I don't think I'd spend 2 hours trying. At some point, I'd be like, I'm getting in that boat or getting wet, and it's happening now.
We're giving it a shot.
Yeah.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go.
So with the pressure of having somebody else getting on the dock he managed to get in his boat and paddle off. He was like, all right, I did it. I was like, don't worry, dude. The hard part's getting out. And he was like, nice talking to you.
Wobble, 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 wobble.
And then he paddled off, and I got in my truck, and I drove home, and I poured myself some sassafras tea.
Aw, yeah.
It's late in the afternoon, the sun rising high. There's nothing to do around here, and if there was, well, I wouldn't try. Taking my comforts, taking good care of me. Sitting down in my easy chair, taking a sip of my sassafras tea. Now wouldn't you know it, there goes the phone again. It's probably just another wrong number, but someone trying to sell me something I can't even see. Well, I got the solution, how to deal with this insanity. Just sit down in my easy chair and take a big sip of my sassafras tea. It's getting near evening, the sun rolling down. I guess I should shake a leg, climb in my car and roll downtown. Check out the city lights, all decked out in a tux and a tie. But I'm sitting in my easy chair, taking a sip of my sassafras tea. Now wouldn't you know it, oh, here come my neighbor Jim. He got the willies and the worries on his mind, and the weight of the world putting pressure on his spine. Well, I got the solution,